Hello everyone, Death's Advocate here for my first stream for Faeria, or however you actually say it. Not 100% sure on the pronunciation, but I'm going to go with that. I've been playing for a little less than a month now, and I've really fallen in love with the game. It's a lot of fun. It's got some cool stuff going on. So I just got around to posting my my big collection of decks in the forums. Hopefully somebody will notice. In the meantime, I figured I'd get a few games in here with some of my favorite lists. So we'll just hop right into things here. With the first list I'll play. This is the list I took to God rank in my first 9 days of playing the game. It hasn't changed a whole lot since I put it together. The biggest change is, early on I didn't have legendaries, so I didn't have Fugaro, Beirut, or Time the Legends, so those were all just spell whirls at the time, which worked out fine. And there's something to be said about the spell whirls, because they'd give you a little bit more of an explosive early game with Disciple, and occasionally they just give you these legends anyways. But the deck was really strong. I didn't like how reliant it was on Disciple. With Beirut and Fugaro, you've got a little bit more of a fallback plan. If your Disciples all get killed off. But anyways, the deck's pretty simple. It's just tons of spells to abuse Disciple, and that's what it really comes down to. If you want the really detailed explanation for it, you can check out my post on the forums. Alright, well, let's just hop right into things here. Hopefully I've got all my technical difficulties worked out here. Alright, nice fast queue, good stuff. It's actually been a while since I've played this deck, since, I'm just big on making new things and testing out new stuff. So I just, basically once I'm happy with a deck and think it's as good as it can get, I pretty much stop playing it. Alright, so I'm going to replace all of these, because while they're all good, I need to dig for my Disciples and/or an opening play as much as I can. Alright, well, we got both of our preferred opening plays. Sturdy Shell's one of my favorite openers, just because, he can just do a lot of globe contesting all on his own. Plus, he won't die to Seifer's flame or anything like that. So we'll just go ahead and pop him down and get him ready to start globe harvesting for us. So the other thing is, generally, as a rule, you don't want to just play your Explorer for no reason at all, but it's even more important in this deck, because this is a spell that you can abuse with Disciple. Oh, how I love going as Player 2. Player 2's definitely got, I feel, a pretty big advantage in this game. Explorers are just so good. Alright, so I'm just going to keep developing my land defensively here. And I'll go ahead and set up Triton over here to start gathering from both of these globes, and we'll just call that good. And that's pretty standard opening for a slower control-y list like this. Yeah, Seepers. That's why I like opening with Sturdy Shell. He tends to stick around and get a lot of globe work done. And when you're lucky, you get him on the side your opponent isn't developing, and you can just grab both of those for you. But no such luck for us so far. Alright, so we definitely want to at least make it to our 4 waters for Frogify. Now I do need to make a little bit of a tough choice. Do I want to play my Hold the Line now just so I can plop somebody down to gather globe contesting? Or do I want to save that for a spell? I think because I have the Explore and the Triton Banquet, I don't really need the spell, and I'd rather get another body on the field for long-term globe harvesting. And since he's developing his Brute over this way, I'm going to keep my Sturdy Shell nice and safe over here. Alright, looks like he is yellow-red. Either case, it's way too soon for even Grappling Hook to be a real concern here. Not that that's that common of a card. I like it, but it doesn't show up too often. Alright, so again, we're just going to hang tight with what we got and keep looking for our disciples. Or alternatively, I'd like to find an enchantment so that this Sturdy Shell can be a big threat all on its own. A change I made recently that I'm not sure about is I used to have some Lore Thieves in here just so I can dig for my disciples a little bit better, but generally I think you can find disciples without too much trouble, but you know, we'll see what we got here. Alright, so not finding a disciple is this, like, we're not finding a Beirut or a disciple, or it's a bit early for Fugaro, but we're not finding any of the cards we actually want to be putting down right now. So I'm going to pull my Sturdy Shell back here. That way he doesn't get a trade into it with Brute next turn, and that way I am going to go ahead and plop another lake down here. Usually I don't develop lakes on the side. I have my Sturdy Shell, but I don't want him to double prairie here and block my globe access. So again, we're just going to keep sort of hanging tight with what we got here. We have enough for Frogify, so if I don't find a Disciple or a Beirut or a Gabarian next turn, I will probably go ahead and just draw a card rather than developing more land. We're just going to hang tight with our hand here because we're just trying to play conservatively and save up for the deck's big old fancy combos. So, yep, call that good. That's a little unfortunate, but not the end of the world either. Now it's likely worth Frogifying. Oh, there's my enchantment. Just turn too late here. So I need to make some decisions. I'm definitely in a little bit of a tough spot at the moment. Still no Disciple or Beirut, which really sucks. I think I'm definitely going to end up Frogifying this Brute just because it's a pretty big threat, and I don't really have a lot else to do at the moment. I probably should have considered drawing a card first to see if I could find a Disciple, but I think I am going to go ahead. So generally, a lot of folks don't like to develop their center tile here, but because I'm running these Imperial Guards, I might want that just to, you know, keep them off my face here. Well, no, doing that he'll just be able to move it right on over, so that really won't accomplish much. Yeah, I'm going to draw a card, and okay, we'll hold the lines. Well, I think I'll go ahead and develop another shell here, and just go ahead and Gabarian him. That way I can get ready to finish off this guard next turn. Yep, that's my best play. Well, he's a pretty sizable threat, and unfortunately he can block his access there, so I may have screwed up a bit. Yeah, that was... Well, I mean... Yeah, I may have just screwed this one up, unfortunately. My hand has just not been kind to me at all, you know. No... no Time of Legends, no Disciples, Gabarian came way too late, no Beirut. This has just been a bit of a brutal hand here. And now that I'm blocked off over there, that's most unfortunate. Alright, so I think I'm going to have to just draw a card again here. Just because, you know, I really need to find one of my threats. But still, no luck. This hand is just not what we like to see. I do have some heal for the near future here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just toss another guard down, while it certainly eats into my hand a bit more than I'd like. I do need to try and stave off some of this damage here. I definitely got caught off guard by that charge he put on his first brute there. And I made a few mistakes since. You know, I can't blame it all on my less than stellar hand here. Definitely been some player error. I'm also been having to use my Frogifies a little bit earlier than I'd like. You generally want to save them for bigger threats, although I have been getting 2-for-1s. You know, I've only targeted stuff he's buffed up, so they haven't been bad value. They're just not what I really wanted to be doing right now. Sturdy Shell's just... Between Sturdy Shell and guards, I've got a pretty good defensive formation set up. Another option would have been possibly command... Oh, curious that he moved the guard over into the Sturdy Shell range. Like, you know, that's sort of what I was hemming and hawing about, was that I couldn't get my Sturdy Shell over there to bother him. So, we'll be able to clean that up, thankfully. But, again, we do still have... You know, we can stave off the bleed a little bit with the command, and maybe this guard here. But, well, I also can just hold the line again over here to try and buy myself some more time, but I can't move, so do I want to draw a card? Well, we know this is happening. And we know we have to Emperor's Command, or we're just dead on board. Yeah, looks like I'm going to have to hold the line to, again, not die. And then we'll gain a point of mana. Push that down. I'll also go ahead and bring my guard over here just so I can hopefully try to, you know, stave off this bleed. I'm probably not winning this one. Just, you know, still no Disciple, Beirut, or Time, or Fugaro. You know, none of my win conditions have showed up, and I'm really on the back foot here. It's pretty hard to recover when you're this far behind. Why can't I move my Imperial Guard? That's very strange. Oh, maybe it just wants me to do whatever play I'm going to do with my wheel first. Sometimes that's a little bit of an odd glitch, but I really need to move my... Alright, well, I need mana. Okay, yeah, there we go. Now I can move in. Alright, well, again, not ideal. Really not how you want to be using your Frogifys, but I'm in a bit of a desperate situation. Let's see. And I guess, again, we're going to have to continue just trying to survive here. It's not going how we want it to, but we're just going to try and recoup a bit by getting our globe access going here. And just guarding up. Geez, still none of my win conditions. This has just been brutal. I mean, I guess Scabarian can be a mini win condition, but you need it at the right time, which I have not been getting. So is my chat bubble not working here, or are folks just being quiet? Huh. Well, there's a flame burst not at my face, so take it. This is continuing to spiral downward pretty hard. I don't think there's much I can do at this point. I don't have the mana. Maybe if I had the mana to, warden up and get a... Well, no, because I'm taunted. And unfortunately, there's just not much for me to do. Maybe time to throw in the towel here. A little bit of a shame. My debut did not go so well, but that's okay. We've got plenty of time. Yeah, I can't think of anything that's going to get me out of this, so no use in stalling the inevitable and wasting my opponent and my time here. So let's just go ahead and move on to the next one here. So I can either, try again with this deck, hopefully get a little bit less of a terrible hand, or I can just move along right down the line to some of my other stuff. But let's go ahead and give this deck one more chance here. It is the deck that got me to God rank in the first place here. Okay, so I used to have spell. Hey, GG, by the way. I used to have Spell Swirl in the deck, but I sort of recently cut it out in favor of Beirut, Time of Legends, and Fugro. Just because A, I dislike the RNG on principle. B, I've got plenty of spells to get Disciple work in there. And while Spell Whirl is a pretty good card, it carried me really hard, but back before I had my legendaries in the deck. It is just a really solid card, but I A, dislike it on principle, and B, just the RNG made me uncomfortable, so I really felt more comfortable having my backup guys there, and there was just nothing else I wanted to cut, so it went out in favor of my backup plan legendaries to my disciples. Well, I mean, yeah, I do a lot of teching. I just really like to be prepared for whatever I'm going to run into. So I like consistency and being prepared, and it's served me pretty well so far here. But, let's give this one more shot. I'm not 100% on, some of my most recent changes here. Like, obviously, I had the most success with the deck back back before I actually had my legendaries, while I had Spell Swirl, and when I had my Lore Thieves in there to help with digging out my Disciples, but I was pretty confident on the recent changes I'd made, just because, you know, between 30-card decks and Mulligan, plus a little bit of digging power, finding Disciples hasn't been too difficult, and, you know, Fugaro does a pretty good impersonation of Lore Thief. Alright, well, you know, let's grab one more game with this. You know, if it doesn't work out again, we'll go ahead and move on to some of my other decks, because I still have a real soft spot for this deck, but, you know, it is not my best deck. It's just my first deck. I do think it is worthy of its God rating that I gave it on my master thread here, but it is, you know, one of the probably my weakest God ranking deck. But, you know, it has earned its spot, and I have a soft spot for the deck. Like, you know, it's really powerful, but if you can't find your Disciples or your Beirut, as we saw in that last game, there's not much you can do, really. Like, you are really reliant on getting these guys and hoping they don't get answered. Generally, them getting answered isn't that big of a deal, because, again, if your opponent is spending time reacting and answering them, you have time to find another or just use your other resources. Alright, well, here's hoping that we actually find our Disciple this game. I really like having Sturdy Shell's an opening play, but again, we really do need to dig. We have 2 opening plays in this list, so we can afford to replace and try to draw into another one. And again, you know, missing an opening play isn't the end of the world when it comes down to it. But, you know, most importantly, we have to dig for our Disciples. Because, you know, if you don't get your Disciples, you're in for a bad time. Well, we're officially at the point I'm going to go ahead and pop a Hold the Line just for that long-term globe development, because in theory this should garner more value off of this globe than it just cost me. And again, I have plenty of spells in hand if I do find myself a Disciple at some point here. Outland Ranger was in... Hey, there's my Disciple. Alright, so we're in this game. We're up against Mono Blue, unfortunately. Well, not necessarily Mono Blue. We're up against Blue, which is one of the factions we dislike facing with this deck, because Frogifies can really shut us down. But as he is blue here, we can actually pretty safely play our Disciple without a spell at all, which is generally ill-advised because there's a lot of, you know, 2 damage cards. But in mono blue, with how our board is developed, you know, Frogify is the concern. So normally I wouldn't play Disciple without proccing him once or twice here, but in this case I'd rather conserve my resources considering the matchup so far. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful or even necessarily disagree with you. I'm sure you have more experience than I do, and all your ideas are very solid. I just, you know, I did have my own style for the list. But, you know, perhaps I should, you know, go back to some of those. I decided, anyway, I need to actually end my turn here and focus on what I'm doing. Thanks for stopping by the way. Yeah. So, I mean, perhaps cutting Spell Swirls and or the Lore Thieves is my downfall here, but, you know, still think it's the right call. Alright, but now that we're here, we do need to worry about Rush Toad. So I want to get him above that 3 health threshold here. So we're going to go ahead. It's a little He's not giving me any targets, which is pretty unfortunate. You know, maybe I should give up on the Falcon Dives and just go back to the Spell Swirls. It's awfully nice to have the pings available. Oh, okay, no, we can Emperor's Command this. No ramp for him, and now Disciple is out of range of Rush Lethal here. And we'll just hang on to the rest of what we got. Okay, so we're still just going to keep developing lakes for now, as we do want to hit that 6 threshold for Fugaro. I'm going to go ahead and develop this sturdy shell over here so that I can start sending him up to contest the globe over here. We'll just slowly work our way up this side. Oh, there's Time of Legends. Let's go ahead and start moving that the direction we want it to go. Let's see what we're going to get off of time before. Okay, we got Fugaro, so we'll go ahead and play our 6th lake here. And now we can drop our Fugaro, who will continue working on these globes for us while we move up. Disciple slowly here. Let's see. I'm not going to use my urn right now because there's nothing else I really want to do this turn. And more likely than not, this Disciple is just going to get frogified. So I really want to try and just save my stuff for my next Disciple or something else. You know, there's no reason for me to play urn right now. So instead, I'm just going to play conservatively and bide my time here. We're officially at our land threshold, so I can, since I haven't been using my mana and I've been globe harvesting very effectively, I'm probably just going to start drawing cards off of my wheel now. As we have a full connection to get to his globe here. You know, things we're still looking for now are obviously more Disciples. Beiru's never a bad deal, or I certainly wouldn't mind a Gubarian for my sturdy shell here. What did he get off? Okay, so he went for his urn. Fancy Rain of Fish. Alright, so first things first, let's draw a card, see where that gets us. Not real far. I'm going to go ahead and leave Fugaro back here, just so he can pick up that globe automatically for me next turn. Let's go ahead and clear this fish. I may want to go ahead and urn right now, just because I really want to, you know, get a second Disciple down before I start playing all my other spells here. So, well, it's not ideal. Let's go ahead and play our urn now. See where that gets. Hey, there's our other Disciple. Good, and an enchant. All right, good deal. So now we are not terribly vulnerable to a single Frogify. We can develop a sturdy shell here. And we can go ahead and clean up his... I think we're going to clean up this one just so he has one less mana available. And now we have Disciple out of range of any rush toads. And let's see, playing Triton Chef may be worthwhile at this point. Yeah, let's go ahead and toss him down here since there's a good chance this guard is going to get nixed. And we'll just hold off on using our Banquet, because using it, again, our Disciples are out of the immediate threat ranges of stuff he can do other than Frogify, obviously. So if one of these is going to get Frogified, we want to make sure we have the Triton Banquet for the one that doesn't get Frogified. Yep, there's that first Frogify, but now our Gabarian Wardens kick in to give us very good trades on our Disciples here. Let's go ahead and keep cleaning up his fish. I am gonna... do I need to draw a card? Or I think it may be worthwhile just to develop an aggressive lake up here, just so I can start developing other stuff in his space. Let's do this here. This way, Warden's going to be threatening some globe damage next turn. Let's see here. I think I will go ahead and Gabarian Enchantment my Warden, just so that he can't trade with Fugaro. And again, we want to get our Disciple pumped up a bit more here. We're going to make this trade. Let's see, so can I avoid Toad plus Fugaro death to my Disciple here? 3, 6. Okay, yeah, Triton Banquet. Well, it leaves me a little bit vulnerable to, a second Frogify, but he's used one Frogify and he burned one Frogify, so chances are he doesn't have another one. Now my Disciple is out of range of a combination of Toad / Fugaro trades, so that should be quite worthwhile here. Perhaps I should have played the Triton Chef over here to stay on this globe so that I could start getting my Fugaro in the action, but yeah, that's alright. This game's going a lot more how we generally want things to go here. We actually got our Disciples, everything is going as the deck is supposed to play. Like, we just had a garbage hand, plus you super caught me off guard with the flying charge. Oh, Looking Glass Phantom. Fancy. He's got to pick the Disciple. Weird, he didn't go for my Disciple. That was a really strange choice, especially since I have Leap on my Disciple right now. I can get it right onto his globe. No problem there. And I've been saving this Frogify just for this occasion here. Alright, yeah, let's go ahead and just... Whoa. Alright, develop another lake here so that we can punch him in the face. Go ahead and Frogify that so it stops him bothering us. And let's go ahead and get a nice trade in here. Let's start moving our Fugaro up. Let's trade here. That's a better trade. Get more long-term value that way. Do I want to bother putting a guard for globe harvesting here? No. This game's probably not going to last long enough at this point for this guard to pay off globe harvesting there. What I might end up doing is playing a land here, so I can like slowly work my Triton Chef over there. But, you know, if I need the globe badly next turn, I can always hop Fugro back. I don't think it's worthwhile. Well, it might be worthwhile to play an Imperial Guard up here just to put more pressure on his base. Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead and just keep the pressure up on his base at this point. Let's see, because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I should have enough mana to play a Warden if I need it. Between globes and wheel. You know, that was the Radiance. I really like this card. You know, it's not always a great card since it's really awkward, but I really like it. It's so cool. But no, we have a backup Frogify, and thanks to this guard here, we can clear that Frog out of the way so we can get Fugro in and just keep the pressure up. And I can go ahead and Frogify this airship, no problem. I think I will go ahead and drop a lake and just trade with the chef, just so he doesn't have a frog over here to get globes for him. Alright, but yeah, let's go ahead and just proceed with the plan. I'm going to Frogify this. Going to bring Fugro in. Oh, he surrendered. Alright, there we go. You know, that's how the deck's supposed to work. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on down the line to my next list here. So my next list is my Divine Bond, for anyone that's even vaguely familiar with Duelist. They may know what that is, but regardless, I digress. So this deck is all about, you know, really big health units like Willow and Grizzly, plus Gabarian, Enchantress, and Enchantment. Plus, you know, we've also got some health buffs and like that thrown in the mix as well. You know, very strong, pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and get to that, if I can find it in my collection here. There it is. Alright, moving along. Hopefully we keep getting those nice quick queue times. Alright, and Outland Ranger was in the deck early on, but I ended up cutting him in favor of my Triton Chef and... Oh yeah, I cut him for Triton Chef. I just, you know, the Banquet was... The jump on the Banquet was a little bit more valuable. Now, Eridan's always fun if you get him early on. Way too early for these Frog Tossers, since this deck doesn't have any land development, so we pretty much just have to very slowly work towards our Frog Tossers. They're much more of a late game pick. Yeah, I guess we'll throw down a Aerodon and just start sending him up this lane. You know, he'll globe contest in the meantime for us. Ideally, he dies before we play another creature, but I'll probably play a Tiki Piper just to start picking this globe up here. Well, actually, I'd rather play a Stalker. Okay, yeah, no, we'll play a Stalker over there to work on that globe for us. A little unfortunate that we're going to be slow on the upkeep with getting Aerodon into the action here, but, you know, we're not in a rush. We are not in a rush. Ooh, alternatively, maybe just Sturdy Shell over there. Yeah, Sturdy Shell's a better bet. Sturdy Shell will pick up a lot more globes for us and, you know, free us up to developing this direction. There's not much purpose in stalkering this, because, you know, if I could deny the globe, I'd consider it, but since that leaves behind a body still, I can't deny the globe, so we're just going to hang tight with what we got and bide our time here. And we'll start working that way, start making some more lakes so that we have a frogify if we need it. Doomgate, fancy. Alright, so it does appear we're up against a nice, fancy Soul Eater sacrifice list, more than likely, based on the green there. But we're just gonna work on stuff nice and slow here. We definitely want to be trying to find our Frogifies and getting our 4 lakes. That way we can answer the Soul Eaters when they do inevitably show up here. But we're also not in a rush. Question is, do I want to Stalker this Wrangler? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Just cut down on his mana and give us somebody to hang up by this globe when we start advancing Eridon in the near future here. That's a... Okay, he's Wranglering it. Okay, fair enough. Although that Doomgate's going to turn into quite the problem pretty soon here. He's very likely going to get Ostrogoth this game. But, that's not the end of the world. Again, we will hopefully find our Frogifies in the very near future here. So again, we're just going to bide our time here. We'll get an aggressively placed forest soon so we can throw out something big to start posing a threat. We only need one more lake at this point. Or Frogify if and when we do find it here. I think we're just going to hang tight, because again, we really don't want to play more stuff before Eridon dies, and there's also not much benefit in playing more stuff at the moment. So we're just going to hang tight with what we got and call that good. Really hope we find a Frogify before Ostrogoth comes online. I'll probably have to drop a sturdy shell here just to prevent it from smacking my face. Oh, we traded into my Eridon. Okay, so I have the choice of developing a more aggressive forest, which I think is the best bet. You do need to be cautious of Last Nightmare here, so we don't want to super overextend with our enchantment. Yeah, I think we'll just develop an aggressive Grizzly. Stick it here. That way, he has to make a decision with this Avenger on what he wants. Plus, we have more mana than we know to do with right now. So, I really just want to sort of work this Grizzly in there. And if I'm lucky, kill the Doomgate. But we want to definitely hold off on our enchantment just because we know, he's running yellow, so Last Nightmare is a strong possibility. So we don't want to overextend and get punished by that too hard. Yeah, I think we're gonna, again, well, do I want to play something else right now? I could play, no, there's really not much benefit in playing anything else right now. We really just want to sort of play conservatively and just sort of dump our giant stuff over there. Sort of just holding off on this shell just as a body block for Ostrogoth. Okay, we went up for that trade. which makes him not a terribly appealing enchantment target now, but a combination of Tiki Piper and Shamanic Dance could fix that without too much trouble here. Let's see. You turn online at 13. Alright, so I have a little bit longer here. Not much, though. Now, the next big question is, do I play a lake or a forest? I think we'll play... Well, actually, I guess we don't technically have to do either because... well, we'll see here. Let's go ahead and just get some good trades in. I think we'll drop our Enchantress just to keep working on our globes. And I may just want to draw a card this turn, just because I need to start looking for Frogifies pretty quick here. So yeah, let's draw a card. We can develop a forest next turn. Alright, so let's... need to sequence this correctly, though. Let's... Shamanic Dance. Enchantress. And trade in here. Again, I'm being really conservative with how much I spend on this Grizzly because Last Nightmare's a thing, but that may have been a mistake since now he can trade in with the Spirit of Rebirth. But again, that's not the end of the world. We have our Living Willow here, and we really want to. That Sturdy Shell's not worthwhile. And perhaps I should have gone for Tiki and Gabarian. That would have been a better bet. Just for the draw of the Gabarian. But, this is fine. Here's our first Soul Eater. And we are still haven't found ourselves a Frogify yet. Which is definitely not great for us. So I can try to tie it up with the... I guess technically I can get my Willow up big enough just to actually trade with the Soul Eater, but there is just way too high a chance of getting Last Nightmare to make that worthwhile. I need to play another pond for Frogify. Let's just restrict this thing's mobility a little bit here. Yeah, we'll play the Willow. And let's... Alright, yeah, we'll do that. That way we can just draw a card for Frogify next turn if need be, and or alternatively put a forest there. I am going to go ahead and develop my Shell here. Just because he's another... He can do some reasonable trades if need be. Like, I may be able to just kill the Doomgate with him if it comes down to it. Oh, actually, perhaps I should have just gone for like a super buff trade on this Living Willow since he didn't have the mana for Last Nightmare this turn, but I'm sort of telling him, you better play a land there. If you don't, I'm going to punish you. Well, unfortunately, I really want to play a forest an aggressive placed forest there. But let's just go ahead, draw a card. Still not what we're hoping for, but that's all right. And we don't want to overcommit on this sturdy shell. But let's okay, he's not going to have the mana 3. No, that's not true. He may have the mana for Last Nightmare next turn. But I don't want him to get Ostrogoth. That would be extra bad. Well, let's just... Oh, good. We drew another Gabarian. Alright, let's go ahead and super buff a Deepwood Grizzly. I want to go overkill, though. I just want him big enough to... There's our Frogify. He's now big enough to trade into and survive with that Soul Eater. Alright, we're in good shape. We have a Frogify for his next Soul Eater. His Deepwood Grizzly can trade into this Soul Eater. If he does... I have 2 immediate threats on board here. He can't Last Nightmare both of them. Yeah, that was his best option there. I'm ready to Frogify the next Soul Eater, and if he doesn't answer this Grizzly, he's gonna... Oh, well, Death Touch, that could put a damper on things, but I may just trade into the Soul Eater at that point. Probably gonna drop a Willow up there. Alright, yeah, since this Deathwalker is gonna crash into me. Either way, I may as well get my maximum trades here. Hey Alex, thanks for stopping by. I think I do want to go ahead and develop a forest here. Crap, I should probably change the name. I changed the game, but not the name. I'll tend to that after this match. Alright, so let's go ahead and play the Willow. This way, he can't trade with his Deathwalker into both of these. Do I want to advance my Enchantress? Yeah, I have enough mana. I do want to start to get her in the action here. Because the other question is... how to go about this. Okay, I'm still having to be really cautious of Last Nightmare. Alright, let's do it this way. Let's taunt up this Tiki Piper. That way, so now basically he has to spend his entire turn to Last Nightmare one of these. My Deepwood Grizzly is now too healthy to just trade into. I've got a pretty good aggressive position here, and I've still got plenty of mana to work with. If his entire turn is Last Nightmare, that is just really not going to cut it. If I can find another Gabarian, I can do a lot of damage. Alright, so choices. Do I want to... Well, first things first, let's just draw a card. More Frogify is never bad. Let's see. Actually, can I just win this turn? No, I'm one. Wait, yes I can. Alright, so Frogify, trade, and punish him for playing Annoying Gnat. Alright, that's more than enough to get the job done here. It's tricky playing around Last Nightmare, but as long as you sort of spread out your threats a little bit and don't overinvest or overextend, you can generally play around it pretty well. And our Frogifies and or taunts get us safe from any Soul Eater shenanigans. How do we spell debut? I have no clue. There we go. It's with the T, that's right. There we are. All right. Name changed. Games changed. Alright, but that's what this list does. It's pretty straightforward. It's really strong just because you put out just ridiculously statted monsters with so much health. It's really hard for your opponent to do anything about them, and you can either just wombo combo them to death in like one turn if you get one of your fatties up next to their globe, or you can spread it out as needed. Plus, you've got lots of answers between our fights and our Frogify. It's just a really nasty list. It's also it does alright versus Rush because we have both Living Willow and Dance as taunts, plus we can be very aggressive ourselves. But let's go ahead and move on down the line here. So next up is my Swarming Crossius list. Now this is a pretty interesting concoction. At first glance, probably all of the Faeria fans have seen Carius list done plenty, but he's still sort of a newish discovery for me, and I'm still proud of when I get my 20 Carius in one turn achievement. But anyway, so going on to how I've developed the deck here. So I've stapled Carius to a control shell. We've got Command, Soul Drain, which keep us safe from Rush, as well as Layla and the Frogifies, plus give or take Emperor here. That way we just have lots of answers, lots of healing, so we're pretty well prepared for whatever everyone will run into. But the real key to the deck here, aside from the obvious play Carius, multiply them with creation, the big thing is Curious Biomancer. So we only have 5 non-blue creatures in our deck. 3 of them is our fish, 1 is Kaios, 1 is Lady of Sorrows. So between Biomancer and Lore Thief, this deck is really hyper consistent in its ability to just constantly find and play our Carius. And not to mention, we also can do Aurora's creation on Kaios should the situation arise, because that can be pretty devastating at times. And that's pretty straightforward. Just abuse the heck out of this fish, and pretty much the only times I lose is when I just can't find my fish fast enough versus an aggressive deck. But with how consistent I am at being able to get my fish out, even aggressive decks I tend to be fine on, just because I can sort of swarm my own base to stave off the aggression, and between Soul Drain and Emperor's Command I can stop the bleeding. So it's a nasty, it's slow, control-y list, but it is a lot of fun. It is pretty satisfying just to swarm the board like mad. Alright, good stuff. Well, I like this hand quite a bit. We have a... We'll go for the Sturdy Shell or the Elemental. We'll go for the Elemental. I really like my shell, but there are things we want more than shell. We don't. If I was player 1, I would have kept the shell. Whereas as I am player 2, we can just open with Water Elemental, which will fast track our Biomancer here. Do I want to push towards that globe? Or, yeah, no, we'll push towards that globe, because we may not have another body to toss over here to work on this globe, so may as well start working towards that one. Plus, you know, even if we are dropping another body over here next turn, we don't need 2 lands. Oh, Flame Burst. Well. Sure, we'll go for a Sturdy Shell, which will pick up both of these for us nice and quick, and start developing our other necessary lands. So this is my general approach, which is, you know, open with Lake, make one desert, just so you're ready to use Soul Drain if need be, and then work towards Frogify and play the forest only as needed. He's not playing any creatures though, which makes Curious Biomancer a little awkward. But definitely pretty awkward here. But you know, we do need to just keep developing lands. I would have very much liked to play Biomancer this turn, but he's not going to do anything. That's pretty unusual. Is this guy sniping me? Is he not playing creatures because he knows I have a Biomancer in hand? Nah, he's just a burn deck. Alright, well, we're ready to Frogify. If he drops something big, hopefully he'll drop something so I can get Biomancer online here. Got Command, if he is just a straight burn deck. He's got some odd land plays. I mean, he clearly knows what he's doing, because I'm going to go ahead and just continue developing defensive lands. Again, still utter lack of creatures means I don't want to play Biomancer, so we're just going to hang tight. And now that I have my 4 lakes, I'll just go ahead and play my second desert. Probably going to block off his... Well, it's a little bit of a weird spot to put stuff. I do want to deny his access here. So we'll go ahead, play a desert, and I guess we're just going to play a Kaios. Just may as well. We're just going to hang tight with the rest of what we got here. Yeah, he is sure taking his time. Like, we're ready to go with Frogify for something big. We've staved off any immediate aggressions here. And probably going to drop my green land here. Now, unless I develop lands in both of these spots, I'm not going to be able to prevent the inevitable. I mean, I see what he's doing. He's playing that, playing Scourge Flame Spectre, and most likely. I mean, when you see red-yellow, you generally assume Scourge Flame Spectre. So, Emperor's Commands sort of got our back there to stave off the bleeding. Well, I mean, I may just go ahead and play my green land, just to make sure. It's definitely a little awkward, but hey, maybe I won't limit. Maybe I'll just play 2 prairies, just to block off both of these spots that I don't want him to develop on. Weird seeing a red deck just not do a whole lot for this long. I guess he was, alright, I mean, Gurudon's a pretty common. Huh. Just cleaning my field. Rather play Biomancer when he's got more than one creature, but yeah, let's just start with the Lore Thief, see where that gets us. Though, yeah, sure. See what that does for us. Soul Drain. I do have a backup Frogify, so I can certainly afford to just Frogify Soul Drain. Really like him to play as another creature before I Biomancer, but because if I'm going to clear the Guru this turn, nah, we'll just go for one here. So, alright, so there's our first fish. Let's go ahead and set up the Frogify Soul Drain. And let's go ahead and do this play here just to make sure he can't get an aggressively placed land if he Scourge Flames, and we'll call that good. We can play our green land at any point now. We're not in any real rush to do that. Just sort of biding our time. He blew his entire mana and hasn't been globe contesting. We're in no rush here. We are definitely a play the long game deck. Hey, there's our creation. Although we do want to try and play those at the same time. Let's see, 5-9. Don't quite have the mana for that, so I think instead we'll just draw a card, bide our time, and then we'll go for Swarming Creation next turn. I'm going to go ahead and pull this back just so he can't play like a Bomb Slinger on it or anything, since he's got a red land there, and we're just going to keep biding our time here. We are not in any rush. I could develop a Sturdy Shell just for more globe contesting, but I don't really need that globe. I'd rather just save my mana. Yep, there's the Scourge Flame, but we blocked off our land real nice to make sure we weren't going to be bothered too much by that. Alright, so I could go ahead and Frogify that just to stop the bleeding here. That's probably worthwhile. Let's see. So I could Frogify and fish. Stall it. Again, I'd still like to creation the same turn, but yeah, now let's go ahead and just stop this bleeding. Get our green land developed and play a fish. I want to play Lore Thief. Not really, because we have both our globes covered. If I play the Lore Thief here, that's too good of a trade for him. Yeah, we'll just hang tight. Going for the globe contest. Oh, curious, he's not going face. He is certainly playing an odd list. Well, I guess we'll... Do I develop another land there just because I can, so I can double globe up here? The chances of this lore thief surviving are pretty slim. And I really do want to just start digging for more of my... Yeah, no, let's... Really don't... A little bit of a tough call. How to use my wheel this turn. No, let's go ahead and set that up. Alright, come on, fish. Yeah, there's another fish. Not that we actually want to play it this turn, because we need this one to die first. So let's just go ahead and stop his mana gathering, recover our health, and call that good. We're ready to go with the second fish and creation very soon. Got our globes covered. Yeah, we're in good shape. Now, something a little weird you can do. It's generally ill-advised, but if your opponent is just not killing off your fish, you can always kill them yourself if you're really desperate with soul drains. Well, that is definitely not ideal. Do I want to frogify that again? It's not gonna pose an immediate threat next turn, but it does give him... Well, no, if I frog... let's draw a card. I was hoping for my third soul drain. But no such luck. Alright, so if I really want to kill this, I can. Don't think I'm that committed. Letting him have 2 mana. Let's just stop his mana. Given, maybe I wanted to leave that just for the next Biomancer, but at this point we're not really trying to draw more fish. We need this one to die first. Now, let's start moving this over towards that brute. So we can start our fishing, saving our commands just because we know this burn is going to keep racking up. Let's see, so at this point may be worthwhile just a creation now while we have the chance. Yeah, we'll go for that. He's very likely going to die next turn, and yeah, we'll call that good. My other option was just developing a shell, just to start picking up globes. Maybe that was the better option, but this didn't feel wrong. I don't know if it felt right, but it didn't feel wrong. Alright, so we can finally start fishing it up here. Well, it's twice now I forgot to account for that training, but oh well, no, he's not going to let me kill that off. Well, I guess the alternative is Leia. Now, do I go for my globe? Or do I keep moving that fish for the trade? We don't really want it to trade into brute. Of course, we know everything he's going to. Now, we want Layla to do her job here. We don't want him to get 2 trades out of this brute. So we're going to let Layla do her job and hopefully clean that up for us. And we'll just bide our time here. And he's being very careful to make sure not to kill off my fish here. Wind Soldier. Very nice. Oh, that doesn't actually kill her. Oh, there it goes. That definitely hurts a bit. Well, by managing to not kill my fish, he's definitely set me back quite a bit here. So I could do a little bit of a weird play with Sturdy Shell and Mythmaker, but I don't know if that's really going to cut it. Feels bad to play fish, but I think we need to. Let's see, I also really want to command this turn, so I think we're going to fish, myth, command, and... Oh, actually, that's inconvenient. I can't play this fish where I want to. Not unless I put the Aurora Maker where I really don't want to. Panic time setting in. Alright, well, I'm going to take the mana. And that may have been a mistake. Well, let's do this. And try to stave off that bleed a bit there. I have never failed to kill a fish for this long, especially versus like an aggressive deck like this. Ooh, that hurts even more. Well, I might just be getting... His bizarre list is doing the trick here. Just, not being able to kill fish does sort of mess me up pretty bad here. I may be dead. Huh. This will actually be my first loss with the deck. Given I've only played maybe 10 games with it, but still. I can stave the bleeding a little bit with command, but I'm still dead on board. Well, let's see. 6, 10. Technically not dead on board if I command, but that is also not gonna get me out of that. I guess I could copy his Grim Guard with Aurora. Doesn't feel great, but I guess desperate times call for some desperate measures here. Yeah, I'm probably not winning this one. Just, I have not been able to get my fish... Oh, never mind, I don't have red mana. What am I doing? Aurora doesn't make things wild like Soul Drain. Well, alright, well yeah, that's actually the game. I'm just gonna go ahead and surrender now. Alright. Aurora does not make things wild. Well, he got me panicking. Alright, well let's try that again, because that was just a bizarre match. Is there much I could have done differently? I mean, I guess I could have been a little bit more aggressive with my... Well, not aggressive, but I kept my fish around my shrine rather than going for the globe with it, just so I could kill it off sooner. But That was the only real thing I could have done much differently. Yeah, no, that's what I should have done. I should have just not worried so much about the globe contest and kept it by my shrine so I could kill it off better. I just did not expect him to be able to avoid it for so long and effectively. Those flash winds just kept messing me up. I was doing great against the burn, but if you can't get the fish engine rolling, that's where the deck will falter. I just need to make sure I'm putting those fish in a spot that they will die. I should have just kept them by my shrine. That way, if he started sending stuff towards me, I think I ultimately have a similar amount of healing to straight burn that he has available. Alright, because I play... Northeast is good. We don't really need the elemental right now. Yeah, I think we'll turn 1 Sturdy Shell, turn 2 Northeast. So one of my favorite opening plays. So usually if I'm running Sturdy Shell, I am running Gibarian Enchantment, but this list is a bit of an exception, just because I don't really need any other win conditions typically other than fish. And so why Sturdy Shell rather than something else? Well, it's sort of unrivaled in its ability to survive and globe contest. And that's really all I wanted. It's a turn 1 play that will not die to Seafers or Soul Drain or Deepwood Stalker, and can potentially gather a crap ton of mana. Alright, well, we've got our fish engine pretty much ready to go here, so now we just need to start getting our fish land out. Imperial Engineer. That's a sort of a desperate play there. Alright, well, we'll start working on Fishland here. And we'll get this Sturdy Shell up so where we can summon our swarming aggressively next turn. Yep, time for fish. Yeah, we'll pop it there. And yeah, there we go. Solid enough. Maybe I should have played it a little bit more defensively, so I might have had the chance to creation it, but this is fine. People aren't generally in a real hurry to kill the fish. Oh. I'm a ways off of my Frogify. That is a little bit of a concern. Oh, well, second fish. Alright. So we'll start hold on. We'll place some fish to body block the Soul of the Wild there. In just a moment. Alright, so we're going to want to develop another pond. Defensively here. so that we can creation, well, and work towards Frogify. Let's go ahead and get this trade in, so our next fish will be of high value. We can use it to clean up his Soul of Wild. We now even have the mana to go ahead and pop that. Just in case he does somehow clear both of them, I'm going to pull Lore Thief back a spot so it's more likely to survive there, and we're in pretty good shape. Our fish engine is rolling strong, and we're pretty happy right now. Short of just pulling this back, I'll be able to kill it and trade in both fish. No, he did pull it back. But hey, I'll take it. I'll take the globe access. He's ramping up to something big. Oop, and there's my Biomancer, and he's got a bunch of bodies on the field. Good stuff. I'll go ahead and just set my Biomancer up over here just in case he's going, well, sure, let's play my fourth pond. Do I need to play around Grappling Hook? Probably not. Draw the rest of our fish. Let's come trade in here. Bring this up. We don't want to play another fish until this one dies, so we'll just toss down an Emperor just to start racking up value, and we'll call that good. He's definitely saving up for something big and fancy here, but I don't know if there's much he can do. Ooh, Radiance. Well, that does put a small damper in. Not really. It doesn't bother me too much. Because I can Frogify that, trade in, and then play another fish. Yeah, I think we'll go for that. Our hand's pretty full, so I'll likely just take the mana. So let's Frogify that, trade in, develop fish. Restrict movement, restrict movement. Anything else I really need to do this turn other than probably take a point of mana? I don't think so. Oh, probably should have. Oh, not too worried about Biomancer dying. And I could myth him just to make that an undesirable trade. But I'd rather save my myth. Oh, here, I'll take the mana point. Rather save my myth just to like punch him with a fish later on, but no, we actually want that to be there for fish to trade into, so sure, he can kill my Biomancer. That doesn't really bother me. We're just going to hang tight with what we got here. It is pretty hard to stop this fish engine once it is up and rolling. He just does not have a lot of options available to him. Alright, so I know we're gonna do this down here for sure. We're gonna go ahead, copy another fish. Clean up. Clean up. Always, yeah, okay, we'll finish that off with soul drain. Let's just stop his land production that direction. And then we'll start fishing it up here. So let's lock his immediate entry points here. I'm going to want, may as well get up to just bothering his base at this point. Let's cover his land. And yeah, looks good. Yep, we'll just save our mana and keep being conservative. Really just not much he can do at this point. Well, AoE does go, well, because it'll be able to clear it just fine. Clear both of them just fine. Well, unless he drops a engineer this turn, that'll do some damage alright. But I have another fish ready to go here. But that was a pretty impressive recovery on his part. Alright, well, let's go ahead and I think we're going to myth to clear this plant. Question is, do I play another fish right now? There's no way to really avoid them not just eating it hard to this plant. So I think we'll hold off on our fish till next turn, and I'll just start getting ready to clean up these plants. Yeah, because I can kill this one most likely next turn with this, and I can clear this with these folks. Yeah, we're not in a rush. Don't want to waste a fish. Especially if he's playing Groudon. Is this, like, we really want to be conservative with this fish until we have another in hand, actually. Can't remember if that is my third fish or not. I suppose I could just play a Biomancer to find out. Oh, he's surrendering. Okay. I mean, I don't think he was going to be able to recover at that point. So I had a very strong lead on board with answers in hand, plus my final, well, another fish, which I was thinking about just holding off and being a little bit more conservative with. That's how that deck's supposed to work. You know, fish actually dying. Last match was pretty nifty. Like, I was impressed with how well he avoided letting me kill off my fish completely. Alright, so let's move along down the line here to my last two God rank decks, which is two mono red Krog the Ogre King lists. This one I'm big fan of. It's this cool wombo combo control deck. Lots of fun, very effective. Although a little slow and tricky to play. Whereas this one is, brain dead, plays the deck for you, really powerful, really gross. Because I really just don't like burn decks, but I think Volcanic Colossus is such a cool card. Oh, and this isn't correct, actually. I'm only running 2 Colossus and 3 Havocs. Let me make sure I have that correct in client as well. I just think Volcanic Colossus is a cool card, and it's hard to argue with how effective the combat damage burn decks are. So I went ahead and made one, despite disliking it on principle, because of Volcanic Colossus, not because of the burn side of it. But yeah, that's correct. I just didn't have that fixed. Small change fixed there, but we'll revisit the burn soon enough. First, let's play with one of my favorite lists, my Krog Abuse ramp deck. It's got a lot of interesting things going on with it. I fondly call it Armageddon, as I got the achievement without even knowing there was an achievement for it, but apparently if you kill 5 things at once with a single meteor, you get the Armageddon achievement, and sort of stuck. So, other than, lots of sort of some high cost cards to get good value off of Krog, it does have a few other nifty tricks. Well, okay, it's got one. It's a grappling hook. Like, grappling hook is super cool. Grappling hook combined with Seifer is absolutely brutal. Can be pretty clutch on really any of your high attack units or even Krog. But my favorite thing is just plop a Lava Surge down in front of my base and see what my opponent does. And then grappling hook right on over to their base for 12 damage. And even if I don't have the grappling hook in hand, you can bluff with the Lava Surge. And if your opponent knows grappling hook exists, they sort of got to play around it. Alright, but it's way too early for grappling hook. It's really too early for any of this. We really want to be digging for our Krog's Dinners. Krog's Dinners and or an opening play is what we're looking for more than anything else. Oh, Fire Elemental's not bad. It's not a proper open, but it will work. So, because this deck does like to use this space for its ranged attacks, and because I don't have an opening play, I'm just going to develop here and then develop up these sides here rather than even worrying about my back line. So we'll send Fire Elemental to whatever side he doesn't develop so that he can just sort of sit there and gather. Hey, there's a Krog's Dinner for us. So because we're up against yellow, Choke's existence means we want to be a little cautious with the dinner itself. Well, then again, we'd rather him use a Choke on a dinner than Krog itself. So perhaps I will just play the Krog now. And no, let's do the Fire Elemental. But on the Fire Elemental dies with Soul Drain, Krog doesn't, so we'll go for the Krog. Just to make sure we get the draw off of it. You know, it is matchup dependent. You know, some matchups you really don't want to play it right now, but this isn't a bad spot to play it. So we'll use him to Globe Harvest for us. You know, if he blows a removal on Krog's Dinner, you know, I'm happy. Okay, so it's looking like it's going to be a Soul Eater deck. And we're just going to get ready for Krog next turn here. I screwed that up a little bit. I should have played the Mountain here, played Elemental here, and put that over there, but oh well, what's done is done. It was definitely a mistake, though. There's really no benefit in playing the Elemental now. It just reveals a lot of information that we don't need to. So, since I messed it up, I'm just going to hold the Elemental in my hand and hang tight. I can also just forget about even developing this side and just go ham up on his with get Krog in the action here. Definitely want to be looking for our Meteor, as it's our only reliable answer to a Soul Eater. Let's see here. So we're definitely playing Krog. We're going to go ahead and play Krog nice and aggressively. Again, I think I just screwed up and should have gone for the Fire Elemental. But I guess, again, what's done is done. Actually, again, we won't bother. We just won't develop that side for now. We'll just focus over here. Alright, well, we officially have all the mountains we really need now. So I may not even bother developing this side at all. We'll get Krog in the action pretty quick here. And yeah, I'll probably just start drawing cards to try and find my meteors. Meteor is just a pretty frequently devastating card. Okay, we can also just set up an early Lava Surge. So first things first, though. Do we draw a card? Yeah, let's draw a card. Just see what we get. Not really what we want. Yeah, okay. Well, go ahead and play the Lava Surge, which will likely, you know, sort of demand that he body blocks. I will be right back. Alright, I've returned. Sorry about that. Alright, you know, we're just gonna hang tight with what we got. He sort of has no choice but to pull back and block there, which works out just fine for me. I may just be soul draining my Love Surge. Back up Krog's Dinner, never bad. And I think we're going to go ahead and again Just draw. I guess we could just go for the Lava Surge nice and early here. Just get it in his face so we can clear out. You know, these aren't really a threat. Yeah, no, let's go ahead and do that. That way we're not wasting any Krog value. Well, let's draw a card first. Well, no, I really do want to attack the Elemental. We'll go ahead and play a Mountain. So we'll go ahead and grapple hook on over there, because you know it's still it's an even more of an immediate threat now. Now we can see who's going to get reduced off of Krog. Hey, Ogre, never bad. 1 mana Ogre's super strong. I do need to choose between, do I want to develop my Ogre up here, or do I want to set up another grapple hook play, but I think just aggressive Ogre's the way to go. And yeah, we're in pretty good shape. Like, well, maybe I should have threatened the grapple hook just because, you know, that's lethal, but I can also probably just kill an annoying gnat to finish him off if that Lava Surge does stick. Yep, nope, looking good. Still no Meteor, which is a little concerning, but you know, even if he does drop a Soul Eater, it's not that big a deal. Wow, well, now he's almost certainly got his Soul Eaters in his hands. Oh no! Istanu! Huh, I was expecting Soul Eaters. Interesting. I mean, could be both. May yet be both. Yeah, there's the Soul Eater. Oh, it's only 8/8. That's not bad at all. Now, I don't have the mana to Meteor, even if I did draw it, unfortunately. But let's see if we can find it. Imperial Guard. Well, let's see if we can delete his Soul Eater. Okay, well, that's fine. Pick up that globe. Advanced Krog. Toss down a... Do I want to toss down an Ogre? I do want to sort of try to save mana for Meteor. Could just Imperial Guard. It's not... Yeah, maybe we'll just Imperial Guard. Yeah, that leaves us the mana for Meteor if we find it. And, you know, starts getting those cheap units out of our hand. Yep, alright, I'm happy with that. Again, we're not that concerned about the 8/8 Soul Eater either. He has to be pretty worried about his health here. Oh, yep, and there it goes. Yeah, I can't say I like Istanu in a Soul Eater deck. Like, that is a bit of a liability there. I mean, it's a nice way to get rid of your gnats, but... we could just... you know, at this point, I'd consider meteoring just to kill his land, too. But we'll see what happens here. Alright, I think we'll just go ahead. Bomb, sling... Well, no, let's draw a card first. Well, there's the Meteor. Sadly, I don't have the mana for both. It's unfortunate, because we could actually finish off this. Well, actually, I could do a grapple hook play and just save the Meteor. Alright, yeah, let's go for that. Because I've got a Fire Elemental lined up and ready to go here. Save the Meteor for something else worthwhile that he plays. Alright, so snazzy Grapple hook plays. Love grapple hook. Such a cool card. Now we just hang tight. I don't have the mana for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't have the mana for Meteor, but I'm also not immediately concerned about needing. And if I'm lucky, Krog will discount the Meteor for me. Yeah, he's still got to deal with my well-developed board here. Is that another Soul Eater? A much bigger one. Yeah. Oh, curious, he gave me something to attack with Krog. That's a little surprising. Oh, wish I could Meteor right. Well, I may yet be able to Meteor, so let's not get ahead of myself here. So let's see if we get a Meteor. No Meteor, sadly. Guess we just... let's move this over here. Right, we have everything we need in hand. We really just want to save mana for Meteor. I need to Ogre... I don't really... I don't want my Ogre to be traded into the Soul Eater. Although I guess that's not that bad, because then I can just clear the Soul Eater with Bomb Slingers. Yeah, sure, let's go ahead and... Actually, better idea. We'll toss that over here, get the Ogre Battler being an immediate threat, and we'll actually just pull our Fire Elemental back so we can't trade into it with these folks. Bomb Slingers, well, not much purpose putting it there, but that, again, that's fine. Now, he can't afford to really go on the offensive right now, and even if he does, I can... 12-12 is something I can deal with. Like he has to answer this Ogre Battler. Which means he'll likely have to trade his Nat and his Soul Eater, and that makes me happy. Hope I get to play Meteor this game. God, it's such a fun card. Well, I mean, it's a pretty unfun card. Land destruction's pretty rude, but so good. Yeah, there's that trade we were hoping for. And now we'll have a beautiful, just devastating Meteor to play. Oh, this is going to be so mean. Yep, let's go for it. This is just going to be absolutely crippling. Like, losing all his lands, both his Soul Eaters, and I'm still going to get this Krog attack. That's that crippling effect that this deck is named after. Armageddon! What do you... How do you recover from that? Just everything he had. Get a nice free... crap, I should have placed it where Krog was, but oh well. Let's move this down here. 3, 6, let's try to draw something better. 3, 6, 9. Ah, dang. Didn't get lucky and discount one of the Flame Bursts for... Well, I guess I could kill him either way. Do we play? No, we'll play an Elemental. keep up the threat here. I mean, that meteor definitely ended the game, as it tends to do. Surprised he didn't just surrender after that meteor hit. Like, there's really no coming back from it. Oh, he's doing his best to stall here. What? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, no, we've got it. We don't need to do anything fancy. I guess stay in the habit of playing our zero-cost units before attacking with Grog. Oh, we even got the Flame Burst. Rude. Show that we had a third one for good measure, and end it with... Alright. That was a brutal, brutal meteor. That is what that deck is all about. Alright, so on to the deck I do not like. On principle, I mean, secretly I do like it, just because if it wasn't a tactical board game, like, I love Burn. I just don't like Burn when you're playing a tactical board game, but it's a very strong, very effective deck, and Volcanic Colossus is super cool. Alright. Combat damage. Alright, here we go. Probably my last game for the day. No. It is just about that time to call it. Close these out. They don't need to be open anymore. A little bit longer of a queue than we've been dealing with today. Very long queue. Yeah, I am probably going to put Spell Swirls back in my Aquamancy deck. Probably take out the Falcon Dives. Alright, so it's a bit early for Colossus, a bit early for Havoc. Let's see, Grimguard. And we really just want to dig for either a Krog or a Flame Spitter. So we'll throw it all away. Hey, there's both. That is exactly what we were looking for. Now we have our favorite turn 1 and our favorite possible turn 2, depending on the matchup. Forward Pond. Oh, he may just be a newer player. Okay, never mind. No, he knows what he's doing. It's a solid enough elemental line. Alright, Let's go ahead and grab our globe. Frogify is a bit of a concern, and we're not in any rush to play Krog, so we'll just hang tight for now. We'll develop that side in a minute here. Alright, I am playing my combat damage variant, so really the only lands I need to play are these 5 right here. That is pretty much it for this list. Another elemental, can't go wrong with that. Although, I'm going to be a little sad if he jacks my spot there. That was also a mistake. I probably should have just played Krog this turn. Nope. Well, no, never mind. I can't. I don't have the. I need one more mountain. So, nope, we're good. I'm just going to hang tight. You know, it's a very sort of conservative, defensive deck. Like, you just develop your 5 lands, and then you just burn your opponent to death, and you use the lane they've developed to send Krog and friends up. Now, do I take that mana, or get Krog a little closer to the action? I think... Krog's more than likely just going to get frogified anyways, so may as well get that mana while we can. Could go ahead and toss Grimguard down as well, though. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get Grimguard down in the mix here. Call that good. I only need one more land, and then we're done. And we can start making mana and drawing cards. Oh, he's gonna burn himself a bit for us. Take it. So you never really want to use your Gifts of Steel unless you're ready to trade. That's just asking to lose your gift and your dude to frogify. So we're just gonna sit tight, bide our time. We're in no rush. Well, I wonder could this be an Aurora's Dream Depth? Yep, there's the frogify. Yep, after the Krog, no surprise. We knew that was coming. Well, that is alright. That's one frogify he won't have for Colossus, or stuff that I super buff with Gifts of Steel. Curious. I'll still probably Gift of Steel it, just because I'll get 2 trades out of it that way. Hellfire is also an appealing option, but no, we're going to go for the Gift of the Steel first. And let's go ahead and trade into this elemental. And now we can Hellfire and see what that does for us. Dang. It left that alive and killed that. That was like the exact opposite of what we were sort of hoping for there. At this point we really just need... Do we need mana or do we need cards? Let's see, we're going to get 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Yeah, we'll have enough mana next turn to do whatever. Well, may be able to. No, I think we'll still... Yeah, no, if he clears my frog, then Grimguard can't collect both globes. Let's draw a card. Havoc's never bad. Not what we want right now, but never bad. His health's getting pretty low here. Oh, right, he probably can't clear the frog thanks to Grimguard hanging out for us. Oh, never mind, he's gonna Ninja Toad the frog. Solid. Root's not bad. Start sending it right back up that lane. His health's getting dangerously low. He's quickly about to the point where if I find another flame burst, that could be it for him, assuming this brute gets a single trade. Alright, yeah, we're just a flame burst short of victory. I think we just draw a card here, just because really all we need to do is find another flame burst. And there's, we can havoc that if need be. We can afford to take the damage. We're not too worried about ourselves getting damage. Really, we just want to dig for our win. Colossus isn't bad, although not really what we want at this particular junction. Alright, well, hopefully we won't get punished too hard for leaving this frog alive. Heal, keep staving off the bleed there. Hellfire. Hellfire's a little risky right now because I really don't want to take that frog damage this turn. Also, really don't want to flame burst frog. I wanted to save that for his face, but yeah, flame burst is too risky. Or Hellfire is probably too risky. And we have this handful of Gift of Steels and nothing to use it on. Haven't been drawing what we need. Well, no, I think we're gonna. I suppose I could just Havoc. Havoc doesn't feel great though. We really do want to save our Flame Burst to finish him off. That does not feel great. Spending a Havoc to clear a 3 health frog. Especially now that he's at 10 health. Well, if he doesn't draw well, the commander won't beat us up too bad. Alright, yeah, I think we'll just take our mana and Havoc the frog. Super awkward, but hopefully we'll be able to plop down our Colossus here. Nah, he drew the card for his commander. We are oh boy. Well, we may end up losing this one. We just didn't draw. Our hand wasn't bad. We actually had a very strong opening. He just had a well-timed, perfectly timed Frogify, perfectly timed Mythmaker, and he drew the commander and the Dreamweaver. Pretty brutal. And Dreamweaver's actually out of Havoc kill range, too. Is there anything I can do to not die this turn? I don't think so, no. Nope. And the Emperor's Command, let's not forget that. Not that I actually ended up finding my final Flame Burst here either way, but he drew really, really well. He played well. I drew decently myself. I don't think I made any major mistakes, but sometimes your opponent just gets a better hand. He just found everything he needed. Answers, 7 costs, well-timed Myth, well-timed heal. Well, that the biggest decider was back when that Hellfire betrayed us and didn't kill the commander. That's really what did us in. Like, I think the Hellfire RNG and his exceptional draws. Oh, let's draw a card, see what we would have found. Oh well, yeah. Can't win them all. Shame my win rate hasn't been as high as I would have liked for my Faeria debut stream, but I'm still positive. I think I did like 6 games, won 4 of them. 66. Nothing that impressive, but that's alright. I am still new. I do think I learned a couple things here today, like a couple small improvements. Like, I think it will be worthwhile to trade the Falcon Dives out for the Spell Whirls. They really are just... I wanted to get away from them because I don't like the RNG, but it's hard to argue. They're really good. So, Superb Lizard's probably around the money. I really shouldn't skip my Spell Swirls. Now, Battletoads, on the other hand, Battletoads I'm not sold on. I don't think the Battletoads are going to fit this deck. Like, they don't really do what we need here. I mean, it is a spell. It is 2 bodies off of a spell, but I'm basically running Hold the Line instead of Battletoads because this keeps you alive versus Rush, and Battletoads doesn't really. And that's what it comes down to. But yeah, I think I will swap the Falcon Dives back out for my Spell Swirls. That really is the way to go. I do way prefer Hold the Line to Battletoads just because there's so much rush here. So many aggressive decks that I like my Hold the Lines. And there's nothing else I'm really comfortable cutting for Battletoads. But yeah, Spell Swirls are going to go back in. I'll make that edit. Oh, you are still hanging out. I thought you'd left. Well, nice to chat with you a little bit more here. Alright, so we'll... Alright, Falcon Dives out for Spell Whirls. That'll be a small improvement for the deck. And again, it does give you another sort of fallback for when you aren't finding your disciples. Like, you can just play whatever you're getting off of your Spell Swirls when it really comes down to it. So that will be a worthwhile change. Bond deck performed great. I don't think it needs any changes. I'm very happy with that list. For the Swarm, also performed quite well. My one opponent did just really outplay me with a couple things I wasn't expecting. He just managed to avoid killing my my Swarming Carius for like 8 turns. It was something else, but that was a learning experience of I need to, versus a matchup like that, I need to keep the Swarms close to my shrine. But I'm still pretty happy with that list. Armageddon performed well and true to its name. It just devastating blow with Meteor. Very happy with that. This list I hate it anyway, so whatever if it's bad. But I do think it is very... Oh, right. I need to fix that. That's supposed to be 3 Havocs, 2 Colossuses. But other than that, I think that's just a pretty solid list all around. And that's all we played with today. I don't have time to break into some of my other projects, but I'll stream again soon. I usually stream Wednesdays and Sundays, and assuming I don't have a duelist tournament going on Wednesday. probably do some more Faeria streams Wednesday. It'll be either that or Duelist. We'll see what's going on here. I wish folks were a little bit more active on the forums here, because that's where I like to have discussions. It's in the public view. It gives you time to think and collect your thoughts, and it's focused rather than Discord, which is just sort of a little bit of a chaotic mess, or client chats, which have a habit of just disappearing on you. But it does not seem like the forums are terribly popular for Faeria, but oh well, it is what it is. Swirls. Oh man, we also wanted, wasn't actually, it was a mistake that got inputted wrong. We're running 3 Havocs, 2 Colossuses, which is a shame because Colossus was sort of the centerpiece for the deck, but that's alright. So we'll call that a day so I don't drag it on here just rambling about nothing and making you guys watch me make weird little pedantic edits to my recent posts. So I'll catch you all next time. Thanks for stopping by.